Hello everybody, I'm streaming again. Let's see if we have some people here in the chat room. Give me a second. And it's today about raw kick, and what you can see now already is, let's see, the big screen version. Okay, I'm checking on the right side. There's my laptop where I can see in the chat room. So I need to see here to have the screen nice and correctly. It looks not as it should be, but who does care? Here it comes. So make it a bit bigger. Here we have then raw, we have the keyboard, and of course myself, and I hope you can see it. Okay, so I'll make this one a bit smaller because we don't have this one always visual. So I'm checking here. It's about a raw kick, the big screen version. And I wanted to show you how you work with loading your own samples. So let me first show what we have here. This is the big screen version. It's not out yet. We are beta testing it now, and once it is released, you go with raw kick, you click on the logo, and down here you can select then big screen, and you need to restart raw kick or reselect it in your track or reboot your song, and then the big screen is effective. And it's very nice if you have a more higher screen, then it's a bit more comfortable. So I was just playing this sound, and this one has a kind of sidechain thing on it, and the modulation wheel. This is in the edged bank, and but as mentioned, what I wanted to show in this small live stream is how you can load your own samples, because I did not make a tutorial about it, and people could then watch this this live stream about the how to add your own samples. So let's do it. First thing you need to do is to go to the manager, and it's wise to create your own bank, because if you load your own samples, it's also wise to have your own bank. So here I could say new, and then you see a pop-up screen, and then you say, for instance, you say 01 my bank, and you click OK. Then appears here, you see my bank, and you see the first preset is a default one. So there's already one preset on board, and we go in this default preset and to show you how you can load your own samples. So now we see in raw kick we have 3 layers. Layer 1 is active, and here I need to select sample. Then I need to go to my computer, and then in my browser, and in your browser you have then your personal samples, and you simply drag and drop them inside this screen or down here, and you can see it drops right away here into the files. This is a kick sound I made with the original Korg MS-20. When I use the right mouse button, I can audition this sample. A little kick, and looking here on the left side, you see there's the directories. If I go to home, you see we have all kind of samples already installed from artists, and 09 is hi-hat, and 10 is imported samples. So the moment when I you as user drop a sample inside this screen here, it automatically falls in this 10 folder. So in this, go up again, in this 10 imported samples, there is where the samples do land. So here we have then Korg MS-20 kick 1 and Korg MS-20 kick 2. I have a orchestral bass drum, some other stuff. So these are the samples which I loaded. So if you have then these samples loaded, then you, of course, you can start editing these samples. The main root key is here on the keyboard is this note G1. That is the root key. You see, I have now this MS-20 sample loaded, and the default setting is this way, that the sample plays fully. You see also here we have start, attack, hold, curve and decay. And if you look a bit up higher here, you see this is the readout, and when I with my mouse above this D from decay, it does mention endless. This means that the sample always finishes. So if you load in your own sample, the sample always will play from the start until the end. This means endless. If you start changing this decay here, then of course you get other settings. Then you can make everything shorter. Make a hold. So this is the volume contour, the volume control from the sample which you did load. Then of course you need, if you have a nice preset, you say save preset as, then you say okay, I save my own preset, my preset. Now you save it, and then next time it loads in. Of course the samples need to be in this folder. So if you have a fresh install, or you want to work on a different computer and want to use the same sample, you need to copy them over. And for this we have this menu here. So if you go to this menu, you can see Open Explorer / Finder. So on the Mac it's called Finder, and when you open this, you can see where your sample which you did drag and drop are located. And this is on a PC, it's on Documents, Raw Papen, Raw Kick Samples, 10 imported samples. So here you can see I have this Korg MS-20 kick, both are visible here. So when you want to move your sounds presets to another system or a fresh install, make a backup from this folder, 10 imported samples. So this folder where these samples do land. Because if you save the preset doesn't save the sample within it. The sample is separated, stored. So I hope you get that a bit. Okay, so in the Mac computer, if you would drag and drop a sample, it would land in Applications, Raw Papen, Raw Kick Samples, 10 imported samples. So on the Mac computer it's not Documents but Applications. Okay, so now the sample is in here. I can pick another one, and of course we already have a lot of high quality samples on board. So if you go here and click on Home, you can see that we have samples from Artist, from Kane, from Neutron Core, Audition, Restrained, from Frake and Promo. It's all kind of sounds are on board. We have claps on board, and maybe nice to mention, if you use the right mouse button you can addition a sample, and of course if I click it I'm loading it. So yeah, another thing which is maybe interesting, if you load your own samples, for instance this clap, you can zoom in and you can change the start point, the sample start point. And this goes a bit coarse now, but you can use the shift function to do small steps. So very small, computer shift and then move up, down. Of course you can increase the volume, you can change the tuning, and of course add an extra layer and use the clap together with a model kick. Actually nice sound. It looks like a bit like a reverb. So yeah, for the ones, this section here is purely the sample section where you load your sample and edit it. there is also an option up here which is called reverse. Then it reverses the sample. Of course, you need to see the start point. Let's zoom in. I did zoom in too much. You see now the start point. So you also, with this button, you can reverse a sample for some special sounds. Okay, so let's go back to the chat here, because I wanted to do the live stream about loading your own samples in RawKick. So let's see if everybody can follow me a bit. And of course, you always can watch back this live stream in the playlist from the live streams. But I will put this one also in the RawKick folder. Of course, I want to make a more compact video about working with your own samples in RawKick. So, okay, still back here in layer 1, it has the sample. I selected one of the factory patches. Here you can click on home and then you go back to the main root. And now here we have this menu. So this menu has some additional features. So down here you can open the Explorer Finder for location of these samples. So if you drag drop, you will find them where you drop them. You can create a own folder, but what also is possible, maybe you have on a different folder or a different hard disk a whole range of your own samples. What you can do then is set a external sample directory. So I made this also. You can see here it is listed, new samples, and here I have some kitchen sounds. Okay, when I click here, you can see that this is the this is the external directory, and when I want to go there, I need to show external samples, and then I have this kitchen drawer, 7 samples in total. So with this menu you can go straight away to your external samples or show the RawKick samples, which is the original one. So you also have the option not only to drag and drop into this 10 imported samples folder, so to drop in the original sample folder from RawKick, but you also have the option to use one of your external sources. So in this case I use the D hard disk. Of course here I can set external sample directory, then a menu opens and you can select this hard disk or section which you like to add. Okay, so now when I go back here in the menu, I go back to the show RawKick samples, the original one. Okay, I'll back here. Okay, so a lot of features in here. Of course, the sample then again goes into the filter. So if you have it, let's say if I take this claps again, I can distort it, filter it. You can use EQ, the distortion, so make it really very ugly. Let's say change the envelope. So yeah, tons of options. So now I use the clap, which is a more attack type of thing. Of course, the other sound, which is this layer 2, it's very clean. Let's make that a bit. So now you have a clap combined. So this is the clap layer 1 and layer 2 is the synthesis. Yeah, it's really for the creative people, raw kick from that perspective. So yeah, there are not that many people in the chat room, but that doesn't matter. I hope you can follow what I'm doing a bit, and it's mainly I wanted to show you that how you could load in your own samples. So if you don't mind, I want to continue now to show something different. So we have the big screen version now, which will be hopefully out maybe at the end of November or early December. Most likely we will also have some additional presets from some DJs, so it's going to be a very interesting update. So not only with the big screen and most likely NKS support, and let me show you the NKS support. So let's shut down this one and open raw kick. Here we have raw kick on excuse me. It's open now. And you see we have some controllers. So now I have one. Up here you see we added some pages. So in the first page, which is also here on the keyboard, the first dial is just the overall volume. But then there is also the option to control the volumes of the layer. Control the velocity amount, or controlling the FX1 mix, which is distortion. Page 2 is again then the distortion, but then from FX2, layer 1, layer 2 and layer 3. Then we have the play mode, and then we get something interesting, because what I also added is in the pages afterwards is if layer 1 is, for instance, in model mode, and we can see it's in model mode. I shut down now the other 2 layers. Okay, you can see that I can use the dials now to change the sound. This is a very high note, I notice. Let's give it a bit body. So the notes, the lengths, the hold. That's nice. You have some more feel control to it. So the page number 3 it is, you have the controls from the kick. From this part here you can control this with the dials here for the pitch and the volume. And then if it would work with a sample, you get the next page, but layer 2 doesn't have a sample now. I think layer 3 or layer 4 has, no, sorry, layer 3 has a sample. So when I go to this page of layer 3 is sample here. You can see that I can change here the sample, the volume, pitch, also the envelope times. So this is nice to have some really control in with your finger. So where if I would pick a let's say a okay, need to see where I pick one of the presets. Oh, let me make this one. Okay, wait. Okay, I'm fiddling around here to... here it is again. So I need to pick, of course, another preset. Let's just pick the default preset. Oh. Okay. That's strange. I hear more than I should hear. Oh no, I need to load it, of course. Now it's loaded. Okay, so now this is the default preset. And again, let me show you the parameters. Volume on the page 1, the FX1 mix. So if I can put straight away some distortion to it, and then if I go to this layer 1 model, I really can change the model here by using the dials here, and that's cool. The volume contour, make it short. So that's what is going to be hopefully released very soon. Another extra page is then also that you can control the filter. So from this layer I also can say the low pass filter and change the filter or the distortion. It's always nice to have a bit of dials. Gives a bit more physical feel to a plugin. Okay, let's go back again to raw kick. Of course, we have a lot of cool presets. Some are very, I think most are very hard, but I think it would also be cool if some other people dive into raw kick. So I think more the EDM house type things. So I made myself the edge bank, and there maybe I trigger some ideas for you guys who are creative. For instance, this side XY kick. Let's play this. So this, what I do now is using in layer 2, I use the XY to control the volume of this layer 2, so that you get a kind of sidechain type of sound, because the layer 2 is a bit later. So let me play it. And what I also did is using the modulation wheel to control the XY mix. So by opening the modulation wheel, you really get some gritty raw distortion. So if I would play only layer 2 now, you would hear that it's it's coming up. So now I use the XY to do this movement in the volume, but also can adjust here the attack a bit. So you hear a bit like it's sidechain, and that's only in this layer 2 where I added this sound. On layer 1, so when I put that one off, layer 1 has this beat, it's the punch. So then in combination with layer 2, you got this, a bit of so these are things which are really interesting with raw kick to do. So for the ones which are very creative, it's absolutely a lot of possible things which you can do. I'm still having here an issue with the screen. I don't know why. Let me see. Because it's okay. Let's do it this way. And here we are back again. Okay. The modulation matrix. Yeah, the modulation matrix is essentially to control things inside a layer. So you see here the modulation matrix, I use 2 rows, and they there's one modulation matrix, and in one modulation matrix you really connect the things together. So what I did now here is I in this preset, okay, let's play it again. When I have this amount to 0, this is the sound you normally would have, and when I increase it, it makes that the XY movement, so this XY here controls the volume of layer 2. And the other thing I did is also the modulation with controlling the raw mix from layer 2. This is layer 2 again, and then this raw mix. This slider. So instead of using the slider, I'm using the modulation wheel. This is essentially the meaning of the modulation mix, modulation matrix, that you control things with it. So it's a very creative part. When I go to the manager in the current version, most likely it's inside of it too. Let me see. We have default preset. There is also a pitch band to length. So if I have this kick now, it's a very clean kick. Let's make it a bit edgy by distortion. But now you see the pitch band controls the hold time and the decay time of layer 1. So layer 1, here is the volume. With pitch band I can make it shorter and longer, and this with an amount of 50%. So now listen what happens. So now I use the pitch band, not for pitch band, but controlling the length of the bass drum. All that kind of creative things you can do with the modulation matrix. So more moving sound. And what you hear also in this groove is that it's tuned. So here you can see, when I show the sequence, here you can see I play in the second part a few different notes. Okay, very high. Let's see how that sounds. It's in the second part, so you get this. So now you heard it changes the pitch, and what I think it's maybe cool to do, let's go and change a bit here the start point. I go to 15. Let's see if that works out. Now you see the play mode is mono, but I also could do with glide. Okay, let's see how that works. That's the cool thing about raw kick. It's if you want to go outside the box, you can go outside the box. Okay, so now I'm playing the G note, and then I use here the glide, and which kicks in if you play high notes, and that really makes a different sound. So that's an E master. Okay, let's go back. If you have an existing preset, just go here. I pick one of the other ones. Let's see what happens just by playing other notes. And let's go to the master again, and here I open the glide. Let's see how that works with this sound. So it's really doing some weird stuff, and yeah, that's really cool. Note it doesn't program the notes. The notes are simply played in the sequences. So when I therefore we have the play mode in the master section when you add glide, and there's also legato mode. Then the some very odd stuff with that. Okay, let's play this again. So that's, I mean, that's raw kick. Doing new stuff, creative stuff. That's the idea behind it. Of course, we have plenty of good presets. I'm just playing now a let's see. No, that's the wrong one. I'm checking now to see if there is something which yeah, for instance, when I go to this preset, I simply take this preset as a base. I think, okay, this is cool, and I start fiddling around with this glide in the play mode and just play again the same sequence. I need to see that. And this one here, you see it here, this layer 3 is later because it has a start delay. Most likely it's done on high speeds because it's now a bit too slow, so I bring it back. Of course, mono is different than legato, so this one is pretty short. Okay, let's make it a bit. So legato playing means that you hit the other note and don't release the first one. So that's legato playing. So if I would, because I like this sounds interesting. Let's go back here. Okay, I have a little bit of an issue too. Okay, I copied that one away, and let's see if I can record this. Oh, that's very bad played. I think it should be on a higher speed. Let's go a bit higher in speed. Okay. Okay, a bit odd, but just for the experiment, let's go to ET5. Need to have the right bar, so here I use this one now. Bit harsh, but okay, it's just an example. So I go back here to the master. I played here let's put it down here. You see here I played a few notes on top of it. Okay, I'm not so fast. Let's do this. So I'm only showing now what you can do with the play mode. If you, it's a here's the note. Now it's in legato. I can increase the glide. Let's see how it sounds with the increased glide. Or in mono mode with glide. Let's see how that sounds. Okay, let's take another preset, just fiddling around with it. So that's the cool thing you need to do also, just not only use preset, but fiddle around with them. Okay, here now, but just picking one preset, here is this note again, here it is, and I use simply the glide to use it to make this sound different. Now it's a bit too much. So this is really a feature in the play mode. So especially because nowadays a lot of kicks are tuned, and oh, let's take one of promo. I need to bring down the volume because mostly it's huge in volume. With this sound it doesn't work that well. Some nasty stuff playing around here. Yeah, they are very, that's why we have in each bank this loud bank warning. Because what happens with raw kick, if you go very high with the volume inside the engine of raw kick, it adds a kind of type of sound which these producers like. So therefore we did not change the presets to the regular volume. So therefore we add this warning loud bank. It's very loud. So yeah, to show you why we added this master and this play mode, we really can do some creative stuff, and it's up to the producer to do some creative stuff. Yeah, I mean, Predator, sure, it's also great for making hardcore kicks. And essentially, if you go here, when I go back again, show you what happened, because this idea, when I go here to, let's go back to the default preset. Here we have the default preset. So what happened is that inside Predator 2 we have the option to change the harmonics, and I did found out that these harmonics had a lot of influence, especially if you are making distorted kick sounds. So if I have this one as default, changing now the harmonics here isn't that exciting. But the moment when I use distortion, change here the harmonics, it really changes the color. what you could do, you see this is the 10th harmonic. So you see really how much this influences the sound. So what I could do now is here, pick as modulation source, I would pick then from layer 1, you can see layer 1, the destination, use a wave, partial 10, and I control the volume of this partial 10. So then I could change the sound dynamically simply by using here this modulation wheel. You also see here a little thing moving. You see here it goes. So now changing the harmonics of this kick, and this is so, yeah, making so difference in sound. So this one, maybe I should save this one for in the default. Save preset as, so that next time you can try this preset out. Move the mod wheel. I will call this one. Move the mod wheel. Okay, there it is. So that's really one thing you can do with the modulation matrix. Somebody did ask this, but you also can say, okay, let's use the LFO. Okay, let's use the LFO. I pick the LFO. Okay, I need to pick the source, of course. Source. Okay, why layer 1, LFO, control layer 1, the user wave, again, partial 10. Okay, let's see what happens. You see, now it's moving by using the LFO. So tons of options. Okay, let's go back here to, let's see if the glide works nice, because I have these two. Yeah, this is nice. Now I like it. I mean, I'm not into hardcore, hard style of anything, but I like to tweak sounds. But now you see that the play mode and adding a bit of glide and having a different note, that it adds really a nice variation to the kick. Oh yeah, I'm a bit loud maybe with my volume. Sorry about that. I need to see. Do I overload the system? Let me see. Yeah, I'm loud. Sorry, guys. Yeah, of course, Rockix is all about being loud. The demo version, the features, now there are no features removed in the demo version. The demo version has only the introduction banks with several presets, which you can try out from various DJs. And you can tweak it around. The demo version, you cannot save a preset. So if you have a nice preset, you cannot save it. So that's disabled in the demo version of Rockix. And after 30 days, it emits a annoying noise. So, but you can try it out, and sure. And it's, of course, part of the Explorer 5 bundle. We recently released Explorer 5, which added 3 new products: Master Magic, Go-To, and this Rockix. Okay, let's go back to the chat room. Okay. Yeah, and the price of raw cake is 75 euros or $75. So that's very fair price. Oh, somebody, a Dutch guy, want to ask. No problem to ask in Dutch. I will answer in English, of course, because then people can follow me a bit better. So just ask. And by the way, you always can watch back this live stream. It's always in the playlist on YouTube. You have a playlist, which is the best thing to browse through the Papen YouTube channel, because in the meantime I have a lot of videos, but we have the playlist channel. You can see a video about Predator 2, about Punch, about Raw Kick, about Raw, about Master Magic, you name it. Okay. What is now a Sorge and a Distortion? I have no idea. A Sorge and a Distortion. Sorry, Joost, I have no idea. Maybe it's a term which the dance producers use, but currently I'm not aware what it is. And I could ask Freek, who was very much involved with this project. With Raw Kick, he added some great ideas, and also, of course, DJ Promo. They sat together and said, well, we need something which is very cool and close to Raw in terms of the focus with distortion, 3 layers, and I took it from there, added a few of my own ideas to get a product which is yeah, also having some refreshing new stuff. Oh, he means source and destiny. Source and destination. Oh, source, essentially, source is the modulation wheel. Destination is one of the parameters in the synthesizer. That's what it means. And the amount is how deep it works. You can maybe look at the same as if you would be patching. So you would have, for instance, a microphone as a source, and you patch it into your mixer. That will be the destination, and the volume fader would be the amount. So that's the way synthesizers work, and in this case also Raw Kick uses, of course, synthesizer technology to create the sounds. Oh no, Joost is meaning something else. Okay, yeah, this you can load your own samples, but that I did show at the beginning of the live stream, how you can load in your own samples. Okay, yeah, Joost Soundfleet, maybe you should drop me an email and I will look into this and maybe forward this to Freek to see what this means. Okay, yeah, what I can, of course, suggest to anybody, if you are a new producer, very young, start with DJing and then dive into making your own music, really can, and yeah, if it's all new to you, a synthesizer or a product like Raw Kick is really a big screen with dials and all kind of functions. It can be quite overwhelming in terms of where should I start. And so I wrote a book about synthesis, and check that out on my homepage. If you really want to know a bit more how synthesizers, subtractive synthesizers work, this is really a good book so that you get a better foundation in working with synthesizers. So that's it is not a pile of dials and faders, but that you understand what they do. So I have it here with me. 1 second. This is my shameless plug of the booklet. Here it is. You see, it has 4 DVDs, so it's about 10 hours of video material. At the end of the book is an image which I use to explain how things work. Okay, so if you want to have more, I mean, you see it. Knowledge is power. It's I mean, if you want to make your own sound, it's really important that you know how things work and at least the basic stuff from it. So, okay, let's go back to the chat room. Yeah, with the images, it went a bit bad here. Sorry for that, guys. I don't know what is causing it, because I would expect that the preview here would show me what is shown to you, but it seems to be a bit different. So anyhow, let's open it again. Here we have it. Okay. Okay, I'm just checking here. So another thing which I like to mention is in the manager. So what I did is here in the beginning of the video, I created a new folder, a new bank, which is called here My Bank, in which I have this preset which I created by using a sample, other sample, and this bank manager is very handy. If you see here, you can select, for instance, in the bank of Kane, you see presets from Kane, and you can give it a star. So what you will do, of course, if you buy a new product, you check every bank and then you think, oh, this is a good one, and then you can simply give it a star. The other thing you can do is, for instance, if you are not in the bank manager and you think, okay, I'm here and this sound, you like this sound, it's very distorted one, and then you could say here with the right mouse button, save current preset in favorites. If you click that, it copies over this preset also to the favorites folder. So here the favorites folder, you see, there it is, there's the preset I just did copy over. So the favorites is very nice if you want to have every of your own favorite presets combined in one bank. So that's the favorites. Now the introduction bank is essentially the bank which is also in the demo version. There we collect some of the presets from the artist, and of course the full version, you need to run the full version to have all the other presets. Of course we have presets from the player, the Outset Agency, Vitalis, Sinister Souls, Gancher and Ruin, DJ Promo, DJ Mad Dog, Kane, and there is much to come in the future. Most likely this month we have already some more presets. Oh, it seems to be fine on my screen. Yeah, I wanted to have raw kick a bit bigger, because if you want to see some things I am doing, it's handier that it would be a bit bigger. But for some reason I messed up today. Okay, well, is there maybe anyone else having a question about raw kick? I'm checking on the right side. And otherwise, I go to one of the presets here. So these are drops which are made using the, goes very deep. And here the built-in samples are used. So you see here layer 2 sample, and uses one of the built-in samples, and just play around with it. You see here I use the envelopes from the noise from layer 2 to change the pitch. Oh, you can do some weird stuff. So it's not only distorted hardcore style kicks, you can do a lot more. I added some R&B kicks, so tuned bass drums. Yeah, this is, by the way, the back panel. Once the big screen version is out, you need to arrange it here. Here also are some other stuff. You can use MIDI program change to go from one preset to another. That is sometimes needed in live situations. External MIDI capture mode. This means if you use MIDI controllers, that the parameter only starts to change once it hits the value which was in the preset. So it doesn't have these abrupt changes. Computer up down is for going to the next preset or to the up or down preset. So presets change warning. So if you change the preset and you like it, and by accident you would go to a next preset, you can put on this preset warning. So then it says, oh, you want to go to the next preset, but maybe you want to save this one. Of course, if you edit your own presets, it's always wise to save it in your own folder with your own name, so that next time you run the installer of Rawkick, that it's still there. Okay, about the waves. No, it's the wave section here in the kick, which I showed you. It's built up using 16 partials. So you cannot, it's really synthesis, but we have a feature here. So if you go to the wave menu, you can set it to a sinus waveform, you can set it to a saw waveform, and a triangle, for instance, but you also can set it to a own waveform. So preset here, you can see down here, you can save. If you have a nice preset made, you can save it and use it in another preset. And I added a few presets. You see here, octave up, that's one. Or if you go over here, preset, for instance, I have one Ophidian one. Of course, if you use distortion, then it starts to get interesting. Okay, let's go back to the default preset because that's a bit better. Default preset, here it is. So that's, by the way, everywhere the case. We have, if you go over this label here, this wave, click on it, you have the wave menu where you have all kind of nice features. So we have presets aboard from the player, some waveforms which you can try out. So here kick, you can have some presets. Here you can see that I have two presets, kick 1, or for instance kick 2. And you can yourself save your own presets. So if you think, oh, this one is not nice, you can say save and save this one, save kick preset as kick 3, and in another preset you can load it in. So each part has this feature. So also layer 1, layer menu, click on the layer label, you can copy a layer to layer 2, swap them, all kind of neat features. Or you say, okay, I have a nice EQ setting, you go here and you save your EQ setting. So a lot of features inside Rawkick. Here, even with the FX section, you see we have a lot of presets already, but you can make your own distortion setup and save this as a preset and use it elsewhere. Well, the waveforms, so coming back to the waveforms, this is really synthesis. And you can save this wave, but it's no way that it can load in a sample. It doesn't, it works different. Of course, you can load in a sample, which I showed in the beginning, but that's of course something else. Yes, yeah, you can save your own customized presets. Yeah, that's great. If you go, for instance, to, and that's an interesting idea, if you go to one of the, I click here fast to one of the presets. Okay, here I have, for instance, layer 1. I can say here, okay, let's see what this does with the waveform from that player. Yeah, that's different. Or you say, okay, let's go take a preset from Ophidian. And these are already in the current version of Raw. So some very nice features are inside Rawkick. Okay. The location, by the way, let's see. I will show you the locations. So if you go to to documents and you go to raw kick, you see raw kick and you see NKS presets, sample section presets. In these section presets, all these presets are saved. So if you have a nice waveform, you find it saves in this section. So we always can back it up if you want to use it in your next system or want to copy it over to a second system. So it's always wise to back up documents, raw Papen folder, or in the Mac computer, it's the applications raw Papen folder. Okay guys, thank you for watching, and as mentioned, you always can watch this back in the playlist, and I will make a shorter tutorial about loading in your samples, which is a bit more compact and without errors, of course. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.